Place that the citizens make that decision.
5 o'clock.
All right, it is 5 o'clock. Thanks everybody for being here for the work session. We're going to start off with a presentation about Decatur Youth Services from Mr. Johnny Jones.
You said we got an hour?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Kid. You can't talk about all the good things in 5 minutes.
We can't. So if you flip over on the back, I'll just go through like all the events that we do. Then Mr. Lemzell is going to talk about all the programs and things like that. So starting in January, we start off with our MLK celebration. That's where we partner with DMDA for their scholarships. We also partner with NWO and Boys and Girls Club. We take a group of young men to the Memphis Grizzly game. So we love in our DYS bands, take about 5 bands with them as well. Next is our Impact Night, which that was supposed to be this past Friday. It was past Saturday because of the storms. It's going to be February 13th. So Impact Night is when we partner with Upsurge. And so we have about 400 kids come out. They learn about our events, talk to the parents there, and then they just have a fun night at Upsurge, just jumping, enjoying life. So another event just to keep them off the streets. Looking for February, Mayor has us going to the Mardi Gras Parade. Draw the bus in that. Our Black History program, and then Kiwanis Pancake Days, where we take all the kids from all the programs and go enjoy pancakes and sausages for Kiwanis. In March is our spring break activities. We're going to partner with Calhoun. Hopefully we get to use their vans, their bus this year. Take a group of kids to Nashville, and then also take a group of kids to the Wayne Center for them to enjoy spring break. And also partner with Moulton Heights Church of Christ to have a lock-in with that group. In April is our Impact Day. We're looking at partnering with Parks and Rec to use one of the parks, and that's another community event like we do in October with the Fall Festival. So just another event, talk about, Drop the Scrap? Yeah, Guns Down, Drop the Scrap, so another big time event with that.
Domestic violence.
Yeah, and then domestic violence as well. In May is when our programs end, so summer work orientation starts. That's where we get about 95 kids that come out and they join our summer youth employment program. So they'll work all summer with those. We're partnering with department heads here and all with local small businesses around the community with those kids. In June, Camp Safe Haven starts. This is our camp where about 100 kids come. We're partnering with this, Decatur City Schools, where we'll be located at Oak Park
Decatur Middle.
Decatur Middle used to be Oak Park. So we're partnering with Decatur Middle, have about 100 kids in that little wing over there. I also have our alumni flag football game, our sneaker ball. So our sneaker ball is for like the little teenagers, so that the ones that don't get to go to prom. So they'll dress up, and then we'll wear some cool sneakers, have our little sneaker ball. Pals, we're going to partner with the police to bring that back this summer, and then we also take a group to the Trash Pandas baseball game. In July, it's our alumni basketball game. We prep the backpacks, and then for our big time event, it's a back to school jam, where we'll serve about 2,500 people here in the community for back to school. And then going to August, that's our little break time, so we have a staff development to get ready, headed right back into the fall. So September is for our programs begin, and then this year we're also going to have a career and college expo. So that's we'll get a lot of small community colleges, some big town community colleges. They'll all come in and just talk to the kids, try to get them to sign up and apply for colleges. October is our Fall Festival, our Trunk or Treat. November is Thanksgiving. And then December, as you all came out this year, is our Christmas giveaway, our Christmas luncheon, Holiday Hope Chest, and then our big time Christmas parade with the city. And this is just some of the events, not all the events that we really do stuff.
All right, so let's talk. All right, so you see we do a lot all year round, so that's good, but I think the bread and butter, what brings in what we really do at DYS is going to be on the other side. So we have 5 categories of programs. Let's look at everybody. And so those 5 categories cover education. So we actually have a team or teams that go into every school in the school district. So including CASE and SOS and special services. So we have teams going in, and this is where a lot of the schools are needing life skill programs. And so we have a program called Arise, and that's actually bringing anger management and things like that to really help the schools be the students in the schools be able to conquer some of the things, some of the challenges that they're having. Another category that we have, the second one is life skills, and so that one is where we have the boys and girls, we have the boys to men and girls to women programs. That's specifically kind of like a club where the students are able to partner, the girls and boys, talk about issues that they deal with the sexes, and so that's real good for them. And then also we have the workforce development where we are bringing different students to prepare them, and he talked about that a little bit through the summertime that happens. We also have Family Matters, which is under that one, which is counseling. So Decatur Youth Services provides free counseling to the families because we believe that we're helping the students, But if they're going back home to toxic environments, we need to be able to try to give them some counsel to be able to provide better skills in those areas. We do have the sports and recreation area, which is boxing. I think everybody's heard about. We have the young lady and the young man, both won, and they're going to the nationals in Kansas City, so we need sponsors for that. Going there. We also have 4 individuals that are supposedly going to the Olympics. So Decatur is about to be on the map nationwide through the DYS program. Woo, 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 woo. So that's good. All right. So boxing is great. Basketball, we partnered with Hunter and Parks and Rec, so that's awesome. We're also going to be partnering with them in baseball, so that's a program of ours. Dance and cheer, so we have, if you've ever been to some of the basketball games, we have little girls cheerleading, and so they're loving it to dance and cheerlead during the basketball games, and I don't know how they're going to do baseball, but they're excited about that. Arts and culture, we have World Drums, Miss White. Miss White has been around a long time, so she is bringing the drums to life there. I believe they were in the parade, the last parade, Christmas parade. They may be I think they're supposed to be in the Mardi Gras parade also. So it's just a great time for them. Family and community programs where we're doing the parenting programs, drug classes, Camp Safe, drug classes. Let me stop right there. So again, this is where we're empowering the parents to have better homes for the students in the community to be a part of. Camp Safe Haven and Summer Youth Enrichment Program are 2 programs during the summer. Camp Safe Haven is exactly that. So we're giving these students and families places to be, $25 a week for the students to be a part of. Unheard of. So even Bruce Jones said we need to raise the price, but $25 right now is what it is for per child, and it goes down if there are multiple children from the same household. Summer youth employment, he talked about that already. Community outreach, market transportation. So therefore, we're providing the buses. This is another reason why we need all the buses. We're providing transportation to the SOS program. So we work with the juvenile system, and so students that are been kicked out of school, we actually provide them transportation in the morning, picking them up at 7, taking them to SOS, and then we also sometimes, I think we had to stop taking them home, but just because of conflict with our tutoring program. So that's a little bit about what DYS does on an everyday basis, but I think it's just really, really phenomenal that we have multiple teams, almost 10 people going into the schools, 19 schools every single day of the week, Monday through Thursday, and then we have activities on the weekend.
The objectives, that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk about that some?
Yes, sir, I can. So objective DYS is a student-centered department committed to guiding young people to graduate high school or earn a GED, pursue college, trades, or workforce opportunities, build leadership, let me get back to the mic, build leadership, responsibility, and life skills, and give back to the Decatur community as a productive citizen. So again, the GED program, I didn't talk about that. We have partnered with Calhoun, and so Calhoun actually does a GED program at the Aquadome office. So that's really, really phenomenal there. So students, again, we know, I think, Mayor, you talked about some of your statistics, graduating high school, not having any illegitimate children, and making sure they have a secure job. That is what DYS does. We try to make sure that we do that across the board. Thank you.
Okay, so along with the GED program, we also have 2 grants that we do. They both are Children's Trust Fund of Alabama grants. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Shannon Shackelford. I'm the lead personnel with Decatur Youth Services. So although we are called Decatur Youth Services, we do service adults. So the 2 programs that I'm talking about are grant-based, like I said, and this is through the Alabama Department of Child Abuse and Neglect. So the first one is the Workforce Development All-Star Parents. What that consists of is like 2 components. There's a workforce component where we partner with Calhoun and other agencies to help the parents find jobs, because the whole goal is if they're on child support, we want to help them get better jobs to be able to sustain their families. That's the way we help the children, we help strengthen the whole family. We also have the parenting part, because they're going through different situations, help them to be able to co-parent, how to communicate with the kids, how to just make a stable home for the children. With the Family Matters grant, we teach anger management. We have a drug and alcohol component with that. We also have where they get counseling. I think Mr. Lamsdale talked some about that, but we actually have a doctor on our staff, Dr. Bailey. She teaches like life skills, coaching and counseling, individual counseling and family counseling. That's to help, cohesive the family together. And we partner with the juvenile court with that. These programs are referred, we get clients referred from DHR, from the court system. So that's primarily where we get our people from, but we also have a lot of word of mouth. The people just hear about us because of the help that we do. When they on the workforce program, we're able to, through these grants and through you all, we're able to help them with work supplies. If they need like steel-toed boots, a particular kind of pants or something of that nature, we're able to provide these things for them to be able to go on interviews and be able to actually work the jobs they, applied for. What else can I say about the city? Okay. That's it. Any questions about our grant programs?
How many children do we actually touch with the program? Total children?
So total is, was it 6,900?
That's not including events.
So you're talking about between 400 to 500 kids a week through the school system and after-school programs and activities and partner with Parks and Rec for basketball. So, like I said, that's not even including the events that we put on for the city. So.
And also today we had 4 staff to get certified for anger management. Yeah, we like to cross-train, make sure we have more than one person with the knowledge. So we got 4 people that's certified in that. Right before the holidays, we had 3 people that got certified for, we had 3 people get certified before the holidays for anger management. Today, we had them get certified for the fatherhood training. Each year, they upgrade the training, so we have to upgrade and get our people certified. So we had 4 people today for that.
And then you track the children, what events they are, what they participate in, and things like that as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we use the
Kids track.
Kids track.
Yes, sir.
Mandatory for the grants. You have to.
And do we have a way that we measure success that we're having with these kids, or is that something we're trying to work into?
You want to talk about the system, Ms. Chris?
Yeah, so Kids Track keeps up with not only the numbers and as far as income ratio and things like that, it does keep up with all that, but as well as, say for instance, for our tutoring program or the program we're dealing with education, it does, Ms. Kiera, who's over that program, does keep up with the grades.
Sorry, people are online.
Okay.
They can probably hear it.
Probably, I'm trying to talk loud as possible. That's right. That's fine. I said, so Kids Track is a program that we have that keeps up with I think we've had it for at least 20 years, but we could actually go back in the system and see where those children are and how they're progressing through the program. But we do, for instance, Ms. Kiera, who's over our educational program, she's the one that looks at the grades and see what the grades were when they came into the program, and then we can also look at where they are now. Yes, sir.
We also have a great relationship with the schools, too, with the counselors and principals, just keeping track of the kids and their progress they're making every 9 weeks.
Yeah, we all know the school system's test scores are increasing every year, and Dr. Douglas feels like the DYS plays a role in that too, because they help them with tutoring and their homework each night, things like that. So the school system is very pleased with DYS and what they do. I did have another question. Okay, this Kids Track, though, that's something we had to manually enter all.
Yes,
so there's something about that would be nice.
That's what we're talking about.
Get it more automated.
Yes. Yeah, we're hoping to find a program that's mobile friendly. Kids Track is something that everything has to be done through email or online, that type of thing. So a lot of our parents have their phones, and so we're hoping to get a better program. Where's IT? Where's Brad? We're hoping to get a better program to make sure we try to make sure it's easier for our families. Yeah. So, but Kids Track does a great job as far as keeping the records and the data and giving us what we need to turn in for the grants. But we're hoping to have something that is going to be equally well for our parents to clock in or check in. You have that problem.
Anybody else got anything?
Anytime y'all are free, come on down.
Thank y'all.
Great job.
Y'all do a lot. There's no doubt that you're helping the kids of this community. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
2022-26 for property located at 3430 Indian Hills Drive Southeast to CC Community Commercial. It's going to take a minute to get used to these new legal description changes. The next one is ordinance number 264637, approved rezoning request 1443-26 for property located at 112 Oxmoor Flint Road Southwest to institutional district. Public hearings, resolution 26026, approved request for a restaurant retail liquor for Responsible Partners LLC, DBA Mother's Italian Kitchen at 209 2nd Avenue Southeast, Decatur, Alabama.
This is a new restaurant that we're getting, and they have met all requirements.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
And that's at the new rail yard. That's
Yes, where the rail yard used to be.
And next we have resolution 26027, approved request for retail beer and wine off-premise only for SBA Legal Corporation, DBA Webb's Busy Bee at 1801 6th Avenue Southeast, Decatur, Alabama, 35601.
This is a transfer in ownership. It was sold, and they've met all requirements as well.
Okay, any questions? Next, we have ordinance number 264627, approved pre-zoning request 1433-25 for property located west of 370 McIntyre Lane Southwest. Public hearing was set January 5th, 2026.
Good evening, y'all. Tommy Williams with the Planning Department. And this was a River City Fabrications, and they are a company that's trying to get a rezoning to M1A Expressway Commercial, which would go to, they're going to want a CC Community Commercial in the new zoning ordinance.
Perfect. Next is ordinance number 264628, approved pre-zoning request 1434-25 for property located west of 505 16th Avenue Northwest. Public hearing was set January 5th, 2026.
This is Decatur Utilities, the wastewater the lift station, and they're getting a zoning of institutional. This came before the Planning Commission in November.
Okay. Next, we have ordinance number 26469, approved rezoning request 1438-25 for property located north of 221 Beltline Place. Public hearing was set January 5th, 2026.
Sorry, Carlton. This was set, this is the property right next to the hotel where we're doing the Central Parkway aligning, and they're just trying to subdivide it and then rezone the other part that they didn't subdivide it out. So then they're going to get a rezoning of M1A commercial, but they don't want to, they do not want community commercial, they want community regional.
Next, we have ordinance number 264630, approved rezoning request 1440-25 for property located west of 2607 Highway 31 South. Public hearing was set January 5th, 2026.
This came before us in December, and they're trying to rezone 27 acres. We haven't currently received a site plan at this time, but this and the other two rezonings that came before these are part of the same family, even though they're different landowners under different LLCs, but they're part of the same family, part of the same group.
Okay, so we'll need those site plans before we can, no? Anybody else got any questions? All right, ordinance number 264631, approved rezoning request 1441-25 for property located south of 1101 Beltline Road. Public hearing was set January 5th, 2026.
This is just a small piece of property that they own that's currently light industrial, and they want to, along with this piece of property, they want to rezone the rest of it as well.
Anybody have any questions? Because I know they're about to come. H, ordinance number 26-46330, approved short-term rental addition to zoning ordinance. Public hearing was set January 5th, 2026. Chad?
It's the main event.
Yes.
Okay. This is for the ordinance for short-term rentals being proposed and added to the new zoning rewrite. I have some communication from the city council on some changes that are proposed before you all make a vote for it next week, and I'll briefly go through those. The first one is for tourist home, and it pertains to the number of vehicles to be parked on the site. The number of vehicles present on the property during an overnight stay shall not exceed the number of off-street parking spaces approved by the city planning department. In districts limited off-street parking, any exception to the parking requirement may be permitted on appeal through BOZA. Another request of
All right, do we want to go through these one at a time? Because there were several, and I'd make sure everybody's on the same page before we just tear through them, because there's a lot in this.
It would be helpful, excuse me, if you give the section so I can follow quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first part is, it's under tourist home. It says parking, page 6, lowercase b, capital L, and through sections 1, capital, Roman number 1 through 3.
So, Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, what that does is kind of clean up some language where originally it said a minimum of 2 off-street parking. And
Correct.
What that means is you gotta have 2 of them that aren't on the street, but then it said additionally, a minimum of 1 parking space shall be provided per bedroom in the dwelling.
Correct.
So if you got a 2-bedroom house, the way I kind of understood that was you've got 2, well, then you got 2 bedrooms, so add 2 more. That may be a little excessive, so we just kind of cleaned it up. You guys are going to have to look at all that stuff anyway, and you'll make a determination upon application of
Yes.
if they have adequate parking.
I do have a question that we'll have to resolve too. With that being said, with this language, would that be the end-all and be-all? And should we look at deleting lowercase 1, lowercase Roman numeral 1, lowercase Roman numeral 2, lowercase Roman numeral 3?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what the language, that's exactly what that does.
Okay.
It kind of puts it all in a tidy bow. Now, that's just my interpretation, my opinion of it. Because originally you had administrative discretion may be used in districts with limited off-street parking. I'm not a big fan of parking on the street for this at all, and I'm not a fan of it being an administrative decision. If somebody wants to deviate from the parking rules, it can be a use permitted on appeal, and it can go to BOZA.
Gotcha. Another recommendation that we would like to make from planning is not to fully amend it, but to add additional language. On the 4th one, it says, any trailered vehicle parked on the premises of a short-term rental unit must be parked off-street. I wanted to add some language that says priority should be given to trailered vehicles in off-street parking, meaning that if you have other additional vehicles, allow the trailered vehicles to go on to the off-site parking, the off-street parking first, to alleviate trailer vehicles from having to potentially be parked on the street.
One of the complaints I had specifically was people, and I don't think it's any secret that we've got short-term rentals now.
Right.
I had somebody reach out specifically about issues with, there was a construction type company and they had trailers. And I'm good with leaving it like it is.
Okay.
But I'll let you guys chime in on that one. I'm not crazy of the idea of somebody doing a short-term rental and backing a trailer, a construction trailer in. Now, on the flip side, there's the moment where we've got a lot of fishing tournaments, so somebody could be pulling a bass boat. But so how do you differentiate that? I'll let somebody who hadn't been bogged down with L1, 2, and 3 all day jump in on 4.
The way I look at a lot of this is if you have trailers on this, parked on the streets now. In fact, the other day I was going through my neighborhood, there's 2 trailers parked on the street. They don't have boats on them, but they have other things on them. I kind of look at this is the short-term rental, if it's the short-term rental people parking in the wrong place or, taking up, for instance, parking in a spot in front of somebody else's house or something. We have that going on now for people who live either rent or own the property. So I don't see any difference between the two. And the other thing that I would like to see is things that we can actually enforce, because if we're gonna have it in here, we need to enforce. Right now, we don't always enforce everything. And I think that particular one's gonna be difficult to enforce because we allow the owners or the renters, long-term renters, to do that now. So who's to say whether that's somebody that's in a short-term rental property or if that's somebody that actually lives there full-time? It's gonna be hard to enforce, and I could see, if let's say they call the police or whoever they call, they're chasing their tails trying to figure out if the person's actually in the wrong or not. So I don't have a problem with, and I think your thing, Chad, where you said preference, if you've got other cars and they can park, the trailer should park there in the off-street before the cars do. That sounds like a good idea, but there again, the enforcement of it is the other thing that would be the issue to me. I like to try to keep it fairly simple so that we can enforce it. So that's my opinion on it.
You know, as far as enforcement, I've had, DC, 3 or 4 calls in the last week or two on cars on streets, and they've cleaned them up every time. They were inoperable and no tags.
Yeah, that's different.
Or they just hadn't moved in 6 months.
Sure.
But, so, you know, we can't enforce it. I don't know if I agree with that. And I get it, you know, if it's your house, sure, it's gonna be hard to tell somebody, you can't park on the street. It's in your house. You're renting it.
Right.
And I'm all for property rights and protecting single-family houses, but your rights end where somebody else's begin. And in this case, it could very well be on the street because it's not on premise. So, you know, that's my concern there, but I mean, just whatever the council majority wants.
I think the simpler the better. I agree with Pam on that.
Okay.
Y'all just need to give us some guidance, clear guidance on exactly what y'all want, so that Chad can make sure he puts in exactly.
Well, I would prefer to leave it like it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I think that they are saying leave it like it is.
That's what, I just want to make sure we're
Yeah, I
all
scratched
on
the
the same
additional
page.
statement.
Okay.
Okay, moving on, Councilwoman Werschler pointed out to me that under B, number 4C, it says, no short-term rental unit shall be permitted in a residential zoning district in a location where there are already 3 or more short-term rental units within a 1,000-foot radius of a point placed at the center of the dwelling being applied for. After reading through it and discussing it, I'm in agreement that we should strike through or more short-term rental units within 1,000-foot radius, simply because that implies that we're going to accept more than 3, and the goal is not to initially do that. We do understand under some cases through the Board of Zoning and Adjustments, it may happen, but we don't want that to be considered the norm. So with that being said, we'll strike through or more short-term rental units. The next amount of feedback that I received was concerning B4C3, a maximum of 135 short-term rentals approved annually. What I've been hearing is that, you know, we believe that the density rule will actually cap the number of short-term rentals that we'll have in most communities and around the city, with the exception of the caveats for commercial and those properties fronting the river. Next, we have tourist home B, lowercase b, 4, 3, Roman numeral 3, lowercase a. A rental owner or the owner's agent address must be within 50 miles of the Decatur city limits to ensure that the owner or agent are nearby and available to respond to any violations of this ordinance within an hour. The address may be a commercial property if the property is managed by a real estate or property management company. And previously, the way this was written was that the owner or the owner's agent would have to actually be within the city limits of Decatur. Lastly,
the recommendation we have for planning has a lot to do with our workload, of course. And this is under J, which it says, applications for short-term rental certificates shall begin. Initially, it said as soon as the ordinance is adopted, but we would like for it to be changed to accept it beginning on March 1st, 2026. Simply being that we can prepare for it and we'll be able to absorb the workload, as well as getting the software company that's going to help us monitor short-term rentals in place.
That was going to be a follow-up question to that. So we're going to utilize that Granicus software, correct?
Actually, we're considering another software. It's a company called Deckard, and they actually provide services for short-term rentals as well as long-term rentals. It's less expensive than Granicus, but it also is a lot more detailed and informative, as well as the ability for us to segue into doing long-term rentals. We want something to be able to accommodate it. Based on what we've discovered from working with this company, it appears that that's their niche. They actually work with dealing with properties, problem properties, vacant properties, long-term rentals. Dilapidated properties are just following it. They also provide a service whereas the public can go to the website and determine if they're, they can find out on their own without even contacting our office of whether or not there are short-term rentals in their neighborhood. So prior to approaching us and making an application, they could check online to see if that is the case.
How long would it take to get that functional?
Deckard said somewhere between 30 days. Granicus was a little bit longer. They said about 60 days. I'm going to go back and speak with both of them to reaffirm and make a determination on which one can implement it quicker.
So if that's the case, would it not make sense to push the application process out until
Agreed.
18?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, because that will have to be brought to council as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So what date do we want to put on this, with that being said? Because, so, let's say this passes.
Correct.
Monday. It's passed. Well, if you can get it set up in 30 days, we know that's the best case scenario. That's not likely to happen. So you start doing the legwork. We've got to commit to, if we're going to do this, to doing it. And then we're going to have to come back at a next meeting and approve the funding for the software. So is March 1st a feasible date, or do we want to push it to April 1st or maybe May 1st?
I'll say May 1st.
I was thinking May 1st too.
Okay. So do we want to change the J to May 1st?
Yes, May 1st.
Does anybody have any issues with that?
The name of that company was Deckard?
Deckard.
D-E-C-K-A-R-D?
I think it is. It's correct.
But we're still researching that. Of course, whichever one we choose, will be brought right on.
And we'll break down the differences and the similarities between both companies so you all can make a sound decision. And that concludes all of the recommended changes that I'm aware of.
I think there was an additional one that council wanted for applicants to put a clause in their rental contract agreement that the lessees would be responsible for all activities occurring on the property.
Okay.
And so it would be inserted, let me get the right provision.
25-4-4E63B4A9.
Oh.
Correct.
That's kind of
Very good.
When you're going J123A.
Yes, it would be inserted in 9, and it would basically state, by signing this application, the applicant affirms and agrees that any short-term rental agreement executed between the applicant as lessor and a short-term rental lessee shall include a clause explicitly stating that the lessee assumes full responsibility for any and all activities occurring on the property, both inside and outside, during the rental period. This provision does not absolve the lessor of any legal obligations or liabilities under applicable Alabama law, including but not limited to those related to latent defects or concealed dangers known to the lessor at the time of leasing as outlined in case law. That just provides, that is just restating Alabama law, so it's not putting anything in there that doesn't already exist. It just allows everyone to be on notice that they should have a clause in there so that the lessees, someone was wanting
And it's kind of a
lessees.
deterrent for me going in and signing a rental contract and letting my kids roads go. So, I mean, you'd hope it's a deterrent, but that's kind of the reasoning for that.
I do have one question, just for clarification. On an H4, at the bottom of that paragraph, shall result in initial monetary fine plus $20 per day. So should we mentioned the fine as being $500 earlier, should we add it again here or just leave it be? Because sometimes people look at they're looking for something and they don't look at the rest of the document. So should we add it there or is it okay like it is? I mean, that's just a question. Maybe that's a question.
Yeah, that's a question for you.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Is it H, Roman numeral 3?
4. I'm sorry, 3. I'm seeing it.
Okay, because I was like, I'm not seeing a 4. So sorry, so
No,
sorry.
that was me.
And what's your question about that? Whether it should be left?
It just says the initial monetary fine. Should we add that it's $500 there or just leave it be? Sometimes people are looking for
Sure.
certain things and then they don't find it and then they'll be calling. or
It can be, I mean, I don't see an issue with it being added there for consistency, just so that it's,
We had some discussion about the $500 fines not being enough to deter people. I actually,
That's the most a municipality can charge.
yeah, I had a discussion with Arthur about that, and he said we should lobby the league to lobby the legislature. I don't know if that's something we feel strongly about, or, but, 500 may not be enough.
I would say let's wait and see if it's an issue, and if it is, then we can do it.
Well, even outside of this, we may want to lobby anyway for something in the future.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, does anybody have anything else?
So,
I think if we make these changes, one thing, and I think we're all in agreement on it, that will require a double vote Monday, which means because of the change, and it's an ordinance, we've already introduced it, so we're going to have a double vote, meaning we're amending it. So we can reintroduce it for immediate consideration, and that has to pass unanimously. If anybody votes no, then we're another 2 weeks out. So just wanted to make everybody aware of that if we wanted to get this on and go ahead and vote on it.
I don't want to interject, but there is another, I think, with the change in the location of the person to be on call, I think that also changes another provision under H, that the person, owner or rental agent shall respond within an hour. And you may have mentioned it, and I may just have not caught it. I just wanted to make sure that was,
Yes, and
sorry, and that may be just on me because I was reading while y'all were.
and you've got all these changes. I think we need to submit the council back a red line.
Okay.
We change this. So it'll be very easy for them to see that and know that what they're voting on the amendment, the amended version.
And I want to thank Chad, you and Tommy, and Ruth, you and Herman, and everybody involved, because we knew it was going to, it wound up being a lot of edits and alterations after I think everybody dug into it. So kudos to you guys for doing all you guys did to get us to this point. All right, any other questions on that? Next up, we have ordinance number 264634, approved rezoning request 1439-25 for property located at 2626 Central Parkway. Public hearing was set January 5th, 2026.
Rezoning 1439-25 is roughly 3.30 acres. The applicant, Pew Wright McAnally, they're requesting to rezone the 3.3 acres from M1 Light Industry to M1A. The applicant made application for this rezoning prior to the new zoning rewrite. The new zoning will become commercial regional, and the proposed land use is commercial, and one Decatur future land use recommends community commercial.
Okay, does Anybody have any questions? All right, Chad, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Resolutions, resolution number 26-028, approve retirement of K-9 Officer Bain from the Decatur Police Department.
I have a question. Will Officer Bain, K-9 Officer Bain, be here?
He will.
Pardon?
He will.
Is that it? Or does anybody have any questions? Well, any questions? All right, next one is resolution number 26-029, authorize mayor to accept public use and maintenance of River Road Estates Phase 3, plat book 2024, page 41.
Good evening, Alejandro Yaga, Engineering Department. This item is to accept the public improvements that were done at River Road Estates Phase 3 for public use and maintenance.
Okay, anybody have any questions? All right, next we have resolution number 26030, approved budget amendment for the purchase of additional garbage carts from Auto Environmental Services. Daniel?
Good evening. So, yes, we'd like to purchase 2016 carts. Total purchase price $103,016, but we have $1,200 in our budget. That's why there's a little discrepancy there. So we'll be asking from the undesignated fund balance $101,816.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
You want to do the relations?
So Daniel, why the reason for buying them all?
Well, you save money. It's based off petroleum prices. So right now petroleum's low, so we're getting a good deal. Also, the transportation costs. So this is 2 complete truckloads. And we usually, like last year, we replaced 1,710 carts, which is roughly around 8.74% total of all carts that's in our city. So we're running less than 10% replacement. And we also had 101 carts that was new residents. So it fluctuates. So we're planning on new residents coming in. So that's for the amount and also the savings.
Perfect. Next one is resolution number 26031, authorize mayor to execute agreement with Redbeard Solutions for replacement of tornado siren batteries.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Just give you a brief history about these weather sirens. Morgan County has 22 sirens throughout the county. All the entities within the county kind of share the cost of the sirens. Morgan County EMA is financially responsible for the computer, the radio, all the interconnecting components that make the system work. The City of Decatur is responsible for 6 of these sirens. During their biannual check in January, we noticed that 5 of the 6 were inoperable. Redbeard Solutions went out, took a look. We'll need replacement batteries for each of these. And so what we're asking for tonight is the funds to get those sirens back operable.
Chief, kind of educate us for a minute. I remember 4 or 5 years or so ago when we talked about these sirens, and explain what their initial purpose was for and how technology has changed.
And before we go there, let me say one thing too. We could replace the batteries and still find that some of them were inoperable. We don't know that it's just batteries, but we can test them until we get batteries.
What we do know is each of these sirens was replaced in July of 2020, and the battery span is about 4 to 5 years. So we feel like that's the first thing we need to do, like Mayor said, to determine if there's any other problems. I spoke with Brandon today at Redbeard, and he felt like they were all in good condition, didn't see any additional, but we won't know until we get that part. So to your question, these are used during severe weather situations. Our communities relied on them for years. Like I said, these were replaced back in 2020. Technology's advanced. We have cell phones. We have other means of making those notifications, but some of our communities still rely on these to notify them during severe weather instances.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Next is resolution number 26032, authorize mayor to execute agreement with General Repair Service Inc. for replacement of council chamber flooring in the amount of $22,510.65. Jeremy?
Yes, sir. Jeremy Sherrill, Procurement. This quote that's provided is the cost for removing the seating and the carpeting, as well as replacing the carpeting with new carpet. I did get a question to more of an itemized quote, and so late this afternoon, I'm able to get something more formal for you, and I can have that for next week. But $19,880.39 is for the removal and replacement of the carpet, as well as a floor prep, and $2,630.26 is for chair removal and disposal.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? This carpet may have been here since before Herman's time. Is anybody in here we could ask how old it is?
Well, we did ask Herman, he couldn't remember.
It's been here a minute.
The chairs are original.
Yeah. Resolution number 26033, authorize the capital purchase of replacement seating in council chambers in the amount of $6,375.70.
Yeah, this is for a total of 100 chairs, and they are the church-style chairs that link together, cushion chairs that link together with brackets.
Anybody have any questions?
So that would allow, we could have other things, and we could have events in here, small events in here. We could move some chairs out and put tables and whatnot. And I understand it's difficult to change out these lights when you can't move the chairs, so that's another advantage.
And let me also say that there's not 100 seats in here.
That's what I'm saying.
We won't put 100 back in here. There's a price break of 100, and we would have some extra. Some on the 7th floor as well.
I mean, we all look at these chairs and we think, ugh. So I'm so glad this is being done. I'm all for it.
My thoughts were those back 2 rows, if you see you can't get by, we could eliminate those last 2 chairs and make it where you can go all the way around.
All right, does anybody have any other questions? Anything else from directors? Council? Mayor? All right, see you all next